Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Shall I continue then,
Yes, sir.
or wait for 5 minutes?
I don't know, sir. That everyone has joined.
Okay, then we will continue.
Yeah.
Is slide visible, sir?
Yes, sir. Visible.
Okay, then I will continue. We were here. We have already discussed this market approach regarding building method valuation. But remember this thing. Whenever you will be using this method, there are certain terms and conditions. So the valuer should, if it satisfied all other conditions, that means this property should not have road from these other three sides. Then ownership, regarding ownership, if there are two owners here, then you cannot go for this belting method. And not necessary, you are experienced persons. That means value, you are expert valuers. So you can decide, you can have your own judgments. You can have your own decisions regarding these belts. So may it now, may in most of the cities, what is happening? Outskirts area is developing fast, and most of the builders or in some partnerships, they try to develop such lands. So in the process, whenever you are handling such valuation cases, remember other points. Otherwise, what will happen? You will think, sir, this much is the land area. This land has so too much width. This much is the depth, and I'm going to prefer. But so if other conditions satisfy only, then only go for this method. These are some standard areas. On that basis, they decide the property might have higher rates in this region. But see, for the interior properties, there might be some different rates. So now come to the main point here. Such type of valuation will be handled by every valuer and even most of the cities. such situation, city or outer area, wherever it is. Such type of situation you need to handle. That means, can anyone tell me what are the rules for these control lines, development control lines? What are the prevailing rules in all over India?
Normally for the national highways, they have mentioned based on the width of the road, whether it is 6-lane road or what, they have mentioned that minimum the building control line for residential building should be maybe 50 meters, for commercial it should be 60 meters. Up to that, you cannot construct any building over there.
There is difference. See, central government, it might be differ some in some states, but still, in most of the state, central government has decided, I think. For the national highways, that control line, building line is different, control line is different. See, for the control line, it is mandatory that it should be from the road center line, from the road centers. Remember these things. These things will be required for the valuation. So from the road center line, 75 meter will be the center control line for the national highways. See the difference. For the state highways, it is different. For state highways, it is 50 meters. For the national highways, it is 75 meter. And for the MDR and the other major district roads, there are also these control lines are there. So that means you cannot, you will not get any development permission in this region. In this region. So that means suppose this is the 75-meter control line. These land fall within the belt from this center. It is the distance 75-meter distance. You will not get any development permission. So that means, see, practically thinking, what has happened whenever you will travel in any city, any place, you will find so many hotels, petrol pumps, or any other commercial activities, shopping complex. You will find adjacent to the road, but still, whether they are following the norms, rules, regulations. That means whenever you will handle such valuations cases, legally you should, where you will, what you will do then. Suppose you are valuing one petrol pump site or some other hotel site. At that time, what you will observe here? Though the construction is adjacent to the road, that means what will happen if it is not permissible as per the building control rules and regulation, development control rules and regulations. If not permissible, then valuer should have the idea and he should report clearly. Whenever you will visit the site, you take some photographs, keep it as a proof, because there will be difference of valuation in such cases. How to value, that is different thing. But remember the difference of it. Now consider this land A case. This is the 75-meter control line given here. That is, this is national highway. For the state highway, it might be for up to 50 meters. So whatever construction you want to carry out, there you need to go beyond this 75-meter line. So that will affect the property valuation then indirectly. Though you are not concerned with the development permission, but you are valuing that property. That means you should know the development control rules also. So now these 4 cases, I will go with these 3 cases. This land A, then this land B, then land C, and land D case. Which property will have most higher valuation out of this? In general, I am talking, not particularly or specifically, but in general, which property will have more value? Consider being a valuer, you can suggest me. And why so? Give with reasons you can explain. Anyone can say. Think and try to answer.
Obviously not B, because B, there won't be any utility because we won't get any development permission.
Yes.
When I look to C,
Yeah.
even maybe 35-40% of the sea land, it's going under the control line. So maybe even the plot owner C might not be able to utilize the entire FSI.
Yeah.
But maybe D and A, wherein they might be able, even after the control line, they might be able to use the entire FSI, so they might get a higher value.
Yes. And what about land D then?
Yeah, even land D, when we see the land D, maybe 30% of the land D, it's going underutilized. But
But
then
still.
Then I will check the other criteria also, that what are the height restrictions and everything given. Whether
Yeah.
after that 30% of BCL, building control line, whether he is able to utilize the entire FSI after
Yes.
margins and everything. If yes, then I will consider the potentiality accordingly for that plot D.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely correct, sir. So, but one more point you observe here. What you are observing here
The
for
shape of
this?
the land D.
Hmm?
One is the shape of the land D.
No, shape, and one thing observe here. It has point axis only.
Yeah, it has point access also.
Point access.
Okay.
That means this is the very most important technical point, because while giving development permission, also you can consider these points. So it will also affect the valuation. So technically speaking, now we can say this land C might be landlocked land. Suppose if there are no roads available, this looks be so. But what will happen? The land C will have certainly more value than value that compared to this land B. Though this plot is fronting, but see, but if they do B and C compromise with each other, then both will get some benefits. So these things, these are some practical things. So in the what happens earlier, what had happened? So many persons want loans and they want to develop hotels. Suppose the person in land C, he want to develop one commercial activity, he want to do certain activity there. But land B could not get any permission. He is not eligible to get permission. Then the land C owner can contact him. And at least he can get the he may agree. They may make a agreement in writing so that land C can get easy access
Right
through
of way.
this right of way, and on that basis he can have the benefits, that commercial benefits, because his land, he has enough land beyond this 75 meter also. So such points should be remembered by valuers. But what about what are the provisions in ready reckoners there? See, for the entire land, there are suppose there what they there are some provisions. For highway land, they consider square meter. So conditions might be different. But still, for the highway land, they consider square meter rates for the calculations. There are some guidelines how to use. We will see in the later slide. But such factors affect the valuation. There will be difference of valuation, but market value will be different and redirector value will be different. There will be huge difference you will find. Actually, you are considered, you are visiting site. Actually, practically, you are doing everything. But in redirector, they are averagely saying this property touches to a highway. This will be the rates. These will be the rates. They do not consider the control line there. So, but valuer will consider this. So remember these factors. Then again for these restrictions, we have discussed this. I will not go in. But what about this side then? Suppose you are valuing such in in properties in this vicinity. what is the situation here? This is one of the airport, adjacent properties. What will be the factors that affect? In redirectors, what they do? They have average rates here. They may have one different zone there. They will consider different, because these properties might be in the, most of the properties are in residential zone. They have different they will consider different zone, the rates according to the residential zoning. But what about this year? Because what happens, they're doing their zoning on papers. Actually, very few people visit the site and then come to the conclusion. As far as radiator concerned, it is not possible for them to. But this is an airport area, adjacent land. What will be the consequence then in these valuations?
The
What
main will be the
The
height
height-
restrictions,
height
height
restriction is there? Yes,
because the area where I am sitting right now, we are
yes,
coming under the landing zone. So here also we have the height restrictions.
yes,
So
yes.
the
Absolutely.
potentiality of the property, it gets affected due to that height restriction.
Yes. And second one,
Again,
Nuisance of
pollution.
noise.
Noise
noise
pollution.
pollution. Noise pollution problem is there. So these factors will affect the valuation. But actually in ready reckoner, it has the average rates. They have given random rates. Now, if you are not satisfied, then go for and again with their legal process then. So this is the industrial area, the industrial factory. But which will be the most important factor valuer will consider regarding this residential and industrial development? Which factor is more important? That means valuer should consider buffer zone. We will see whether we will visit the site, whether there is buffer zone is left there. Then hazardous industries, such factors they will consider. You know everyone. So you know all the points. I will not go in detail, but see, remember, I am expecting whenever you will visit the site, if the property is adjacent to the residential zone, then whether they have a buffer zone, it is must. And every state has their different rules and regulations. So that means in Maharashtra particularly, it is mandatory to keep 23-meter belt in between. But in Gujarat, it might be different rules. If for the corporations, different rules. For the rural area, there might be different rules. So, but see, you should have the idea what are the provisions given in the development control rules. You should have the idea, and it certainly affects the valuation then.
Sorry to interrupt, sir.
Yeah, okay.
I am architect Sushil Kumar Punde from Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar itself.
Okay.
I am having one question again
Mhm.
regarding the average rate published in RRR. Generally, they are to be considered as per the guidelines. They are to be considered as a residential area rates for the plot itself. But for evaluating this
We will
particular
come to that point, sir. I have next slides.
industrial.
We will discuss on the next slides. I have some
Okay,
slides
okay.
with. Okay, we'll
Okay,
continue.
Okay.
I have slides with these guidelines rates also. How to calculate these guidelines rates? Well, I have one.
For the industrial part.
Yeah, I know. I will tell. Okay.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I
Thank
was the officer here in Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar itself only. I was the
Okay.
officer. I have taken retirement and then I'm working in this field now. I will tell you, yes. And later
Please
on,
share.
I'm going to share my mobile number also, so that everyone will be in touch with each other then. But see, what is the difference between these radiator rates? We have already discussed this. That means valuer, the private, what will the private valuer's role here? He should have the market value approach. He will go for the market approach value. He will consider these redirectional rates. But still, these redirectional, I am again repeating, these redirectional rates are average rates. So most of the times, what happened practically, what had happened in the past, I can say this. For the entire jurisdiction, almost it was the jurisdiction for the justice. I was the main officer there, and how to I was the authority to decide the rate for each and inch every length, every inch rate of that entire region, and only one assistant, two, three assistants were there to cover 8 districts. So this is practical situation everywhere. There is shortage of technical staff in offices. 4, 5, 7, 8 persons are working. They what they will do? They will certainly go with the development plans only. Nothing can be done. In Mumbai, Pune, same things are there. Same is. So that's why these are some average rates. So by whenever you, but remember, whenever you will value any property, first straightway go for the reduction rate so that you can have brief idea. Secondly, straightway go for the zone plans. Nowadays, government of Maharashtra, they are almost going to publish these zone plans. What happened? Most of the valuers working in this field, they do not have the idea about these zone plans or how to see these zones then, how to go for these reduction rates then. So if you straightway go for the zone, particularly number has been given. They have assigned some numbers for the particular zone, and they are going to publish. They are going to publish it online now, so that you will have the idea, brief idea, and on that basis, straightway go for the market approach, market valuation. Then you will have local inquiry. But remember two things. You will go for the local inquiry, but it doesn't mean that you will get the proper valuation there. Someone will say, those people are not responsible anywhere. They will say anything. But the sales incidents, you should have the data collected from the sub-registrar office or land acquisition office also. For there are so many valuations cases, they have to give compensation. In the process, they collect so many data available with the land acquisition officers also. But with your own relations, you will be able to get such data. Otherwise, no one will provide. Okay. The major factors everyone know: location, size, condition, and we have already discussed in detail here. This development plan, why I am again and again going this, because this no development zone, residential zone has some weightage and huge difference of valuation there, because in most of the agricultural zone, they will see the situation, which type of rate. If some properties are in no development zone, but these properties have good values. There are nowadays government is giving preference. There are some Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana or some other the development control rules now allow some residential development in no development zone also, with certain regulations, with by payment of some premium in the municipal corporation or outside municipal limit area, up to 1 kilometer, up to 500 meters. That means this is the difference. So valuer should know now earlier what was happening. In no development zone, we were thinking that it is purely for agricultural zone only. But nowadays it is not so. I think Maharashtra people might know regarding regional plan rules are there. If I get time, then I will try to show you what are the provisions in that regional plan areas. So these some lands have potential, not equally with the residential zone, but still have the potential. So in many zones, we have suggested square meter rates, and some parts square meter rates plus hectare rates, though both the rates have been provided. And suppose those land totally interior, those lands they have provided only hectare rates there in agricultural zone. But remember, particularly in Maharashtra, they are developing these, they are framing the rules. What are the rules required? Adjust, because in Pradhan Mantri Yojana, they have allowed something. Then again, in the regional plan provisions, they have allowed residential development from the municipal boundary. Uh, then, so that means it will affect the valuation. But what about other states? I don't know, sir. Vimal sir, what are the provisions regarding this? Whether in Gujarat, regional plan is prevailing there? Vimal sir. Regional plan is there in Gujarat or not?
Yeah, we have, means in for Surat, we have our draft TP 2035 also now. Wherein they are given the whether it is a commercial region or residential zoning plan and everything is provided. You are talking about zoning plans,
No, sir. No, I am talking about the regional plans.
regional plans in the sense.
So that means regional plans means what? I will show on the next slides then. I don't have the regional plan. Me. In the last hour, I will try to show them regional plan. But see, what does mean by regional plan? This is municipal area, right? Municipal area. Outside this, totally rural area. In Maharashtra, what they did for the entire area, regional plan provisions are applicable.
Okay, that is available here also. Yeah.
Yeah, and in this, what are the provisions there? The entire region outside this municipal limit is, except Gautam, is no development zone. That means agricultural zone. So, in order to avoid haphazard development, there are certain provisions in the bylaws. That means from the congested area boundary up to 500 meter, they permit residentials or commercial, industrial. These activities are permissible in the agricultural zone itself, in the rural areas. And if the population is more than 5,000 meter, 5,000, then up to 1.5 kilometer from the periphery, they permit the residential. And outside that, the entire area will be agricultural zone then. And second thing, suppose you are developing some industries on the highways. This is totally agricultural zone, right? This is rural area. This highway is passing through this village. But still remember, for some wayside amenities, you can sanction the layout, not for the residential purpose, but for industrial purpose or some commercial purpose. Depends on the, they have given what are the provisions, how much road is required, how much open space should be left in these layouts. So these things are permissible. That means you can get sanction, not for the residential, but for commercial in a single plot. You cannot subdivide this plot. So that means if land gets any potential, then valuer will not go for the agricultural rates here. Or some any potential rates are provided there for the such highway lands. So now these are some provisions. These we have to follow these constructs here. That means land falls in no development. Suppose your land falls in no development zones, and I have already told that they sometimes for some lands, suppose this is the land adjacent to the main road. Though it's agricultural land, they have given only square meter rate. For some, this zone is totally interior, and only agricultural rates have been given here. But some for such lands, they have given square meter rates and some agricultural rate. Both rates have been. How to calculate? How to they perform the calculation? But this is for Maharashtra state. It might be different for other states. But for your understanding and for your comparison and for your knowledge, and you can utilize these, because whenever you are valuing, for suppose you are valuing 5 hectare lands, it's totally purely agricultural land. At that time, you need to, and whether you are, suppose you are handling only 10 R land, that means 0.10 hectare land. That means that's why this square meter rate prevail in such areas. Whether it is per the whether you are getting some development permissions there, these factors matters in such cases. So be alert regarding this such type of valuations then. So for this, we will see with one. I have carried out one example here with some considering some area. Suppose only square meter rate is been given. In that situation, no, this is no development zone. That means this is agricultural zone. Only square meter rate given, then you need to go for this. That means up to 500 square meter, you will use 100% rate, whatever the rate given. For remaining 1500 square meter, you will use 80% rate. For 2000 remaining 2000 square meter area, you will use 60% rates. And for other remaining area, you maximum 40%. Depends on the square meter rate. Suppose they have given both the rates, that means square meter rate and hectare rate. But only up to 2000 square meter, they are considering this square meter rate, and adding remaining with hectare rate only. They have provided both the rates. This will be used by the for the radiator calculation purpose only. But you will have, being a valuer, when you will visit the site, you will get idea how much will be the difference there. The person selling the agricultural land, whether the land has potential or not, or why these people have given square meter rate then, why these people are giving square meter and hectare rates. These things should be considered by a valuer. And in other state also, there might be some different provisions, but similar type of provision, whenever you are valuing land value for the 1 hectare or more, you know, straight away you cannot go for directly, cannot multiply with the square meter rates. So there, how to reduce, it is given here. For this, this is for the no development zone. That means square meter and hectare rate both can be. How to calculate, then we will see. Then land falls in purely residential zone or commercial zone or industrial zone. Someone was asking, we will again discuss in the evening. Whenever land falls in residential, commercial or industrial zones, you will straightaway, there will no provision for the hectare rates. You will consider only square meter rates, but it depends. They have, there are so different, so many zones. In municipal limit, it might be from starting 50 to almost 400, 300, 500, 700 zones. In Mumbai, what happens? Such situation might be there in Bangalore also. They have provided some different zoning. I don't know regarding the Gujarat, because I will try to collect material from Vimal Shah sir. Because I'm practicing in this field now, so I need this material to deliver some lectures.
Sir, I will send you the ASR of Gujarat, annual schedule of rates, wherein all these things will be mentioned.
Sir.
I'll send you the copy of ASR.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes.
And also send me the copy of DCPR also.
Okay.
Development.
I'll send you. Yeah.
But what?
I'll send you the GDCR, entire GDCR, the Gujarat Development Control Rules and all.
Yes, sir. Because I have heard about the town planning scheme. I think Gujarat is the most popular for the town planning schemes. They have developed so many pockets, residential pockets in Gujarat. Particularly, Gujarat is famous for this town planning scheme. We were also trying in Maharashtra, but unsuccessful. Why so? Because people are not eager to give lands. They are interested in your personal development. But in particularly Gujarat, I have read somewhere that so many town planning schemes are there in Gujarat. This matters because this development carries the weightage for the valuation naturally. So in this residential zone, they will give square meter rates. Up to 500 square meter, you need to go 100% rate. No, not thing. Directly, that means as good as plot rate. But suppose you have area more than 5,500 and below 18R area, that is 1800 square meter. Then for first 500 you will go for 100% rate. For remaining 8,000 square meter rate, you will use 90% rate of that square meter rate. Same thing with this. This is cost tax given here. And what about more? Suppose the land value is more, land area is more than 10,000. You need to add every step here. It depends on the area. How much is the area you are valuing for this radiational purpose? But this will give you idea because why it is important? Because whenever government officers are fixing the rates, they certainly think what type of development is prevailing in that vicinity. So you will have idea because you are not doing this value because you need for what purpose you need. Again, for the capital gain purpose, you will need, right? They will accept these rates. They will not accept your private rates. Then again, for the auction purpose also, there need to be some comparison. So these you should know how to go for this. Suppose land is more than 1.6 hectare land you are going to evaluate. Then you need to add at every step. You will calculate this 500, then 1,500, then remaining 2,000. And see, I have calculated one for your knowledge. These are old rates, but for information only, what happens? In radiators, only land rates are not given. That means commercial, flat rates, building rates, everything is given. Some ready rates are available so that sub-research can easily calculate. And on that basis, he can do the valuation and collect the stamp duty for the government. These different, their construction rates are different. In Gujarat, construction rate are different. In Rajasthan, construction rate are different. Because what type of material you have, it makes the difference because transportation charges are heavy nowadays. So it depends. That means valuer should be alert. He should collect these rates. You are IBBI valuer. That means you can handle any case from any part of the India. So you should have the idea regarding these rates so that you will conclude with the proper conclusion then. So these type of rates will be given. They will government. These are rates based on the DSR. That means supplied by the PWD departments. They for their whenever they give some contracts at that time they use these PWD rates. So on that basis, on the survey base, they have these are average rates. These are not fixed for the, but there are certain categories we know RCC. Then these are some temporary structures might be there. For this, they have provided the rates. Some load bearing structure might be there. And then depends on the low age of the building. You need to go for the depreciation. You even know. So these rates will are very important because whenever you are valuing some land, suppose you are valuing for the going for the cost approach. That means you will go for the land rate, then again for building rate. But this will give you the idea. These are also again average rates, not fixed rate. But you will have some idea. You will get some idea while valuing some properties. So this is the case. I have carried out one valuation here. See, this is the property develop land or property from municipal corporation area, no development zone, agricultural zone. Three conditions, three situations I have considered. Now you can also try yourself with by using your calculators. Whether I am correct or wrong, I may made a mistake here. In the mornings itself, I have carried out these calculations. Uh, This rate, this was the how much area for the calculation here? 1200 square meter. 12,000 square meter. That means 1.2 hectare agricultural land is there. And three situations I have considered. Pure square meter rate is given here. Then square meter plus hectare rate been given here. And only hectare rate is given here. Then these are prevailing rates. One question I will ask, how much will be the value if only hectare rate is given in this case? How much will be the land value here?
42 lakhs.
It is given here. So that means if only hectare rate will be given, you will straight away go for the no need to think. For stamp duty collection, you are doing this, but you will have idea again while performing calculation for sometimes you need to go for the crop loans also in some areas. At that time also you will need such valuations. In insurance valuations also, crop insurance valuations are they are doing performing nowadays. So in the second case, what they did, he has considered this 1500 square meter rate and this 30 these are grades given in the reduction for the particular zone. 1500 per square meter and 35 lakh per hectare rate. These rates have been given. Now you want to calculate for the how much area? For the for 1 hectare, how much will be the valuation here? Up to 20. See, if both rates been given, then up to 2000 square meter, what you are doing? You are going, they are directly not applying square meter rate to the entire area. That means this is the proper way. Otherwise, what will happen? The proper property valuation might be low on the lower side or might be higher side. So both the things being considered by these the department officers. So for the 22,000 square meter, they have considered square meter rate. Same thing did here. For 500 into 1500, that means 1500 per square meter was the rate given. And remaining 1500 square meter, they are using 1500 square meter and with 80%. So this will be the square meter valuation in this case. That means 25 lakh 50,000 will be the valuation for the 20R area. But what about the remaining area then? They are using square meter rate. This was the remaining area here. He wants to calculate valuation for this 1.2 hectare here in this case. So for the remaining area, what he did, he has directly used this 35 lakh per hectare rate. On that, combine this by adding this square meter valuation and by this. So in door development zone, there might be three types of valuations as far as radiator is concerned. So you will get idea here whether the land is adjacent to the road. That means why they are considering this square meter rate in this case, because it has some potential, development potential there. So they have not given the hectare rate here. Though the land falls in the no development zone, still they are giving, but as compared to the residential zone, these rates will be on the lower side. Remember this. Otherwise, you will say, sir, what is the purpose then? Now go for this second one. You can calculate. Whether I am correct or wrong. So in this case, which table they are following? see, there will be no hectare rate provided in this residential zone. That means for the commercial, residential or industrial purpose, whenever you are going for these valuations, you will not go with these no development zone rates. That means there is difference between development zone and this commercial, residential and industrial zone. So whenever you are valuing such properties, you will consider only square meter rates in this. So in this case, suppose here want to calculate the valuation of the 1.6 hectare land in residential zone. You cannot directly apply that square meter rate directly. So how they calculate the valuation then? That 1.6 hectare, 1.6 hectare, that means 16,000 square meter land is there. But the rate this much is rate given, 35,000 per square meter rate was given. That is the municipal corporation land is there. Residential zone land is there. 35,000 per square meter rate. What will happen? If you directly multiply with this 16,000 square meter, so considering this area, how to evaluate, how to calculate for the stamp duty purpose. So for the 500 square meter, they will directly, that means 100% rate is applied here, right? For remaining 1500 square meter, that means up to 20 square meter, 2000 square meter, 500 square meter we have already taken. So multiplying by 35,000 into 90% rate for the up to 2000 square meter they are considered. So you will get this figure here, right? You try to calculate in your calculators also. That's why I have asked you to keep calculators. Then for the remaining 2000 square meter, these tables will be useful for comparison or for taking decisions or for your judgment. So if you are valuing such residential zone lands, you will require this. And for the remaining 6,000 square meter, what they are doing? They are using this 70% rate. And simply add it, you will get this much valuation here. That means this was the valuation up to 1 hectare, and for the remaining 6,000 square meter, they are using 60% rate, not going below that. 60% is the maximum. So after adding these figures, for 1.6 hectare lands, he is getting this much valuation. But suppose if you multiply directly, how much will be the difference? Can anyone calculate? Use this 35,000 square meter rate for this entire land. How much will be the difference? Calculate it and tell me.
Problem.
How much is difference there? How much will be the value if you are directly using that 35,000 square meter rate for the entire land? They consider the roads, open spaces, everything.
16 crore 62 lakh 50,000.
No, see, this is the valuation for 1.6 hectare already 39 crore 37 lakh 50,000 is my valuation. It will not.
Yeah, the difference.
Oh, okay.
56
The
crore,
difference.
you are considering the
Yes,
entire.
Yes.
Difference.
You are telling difference. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so correct. That means this much will be because whenever you are valuing for, you are going for the higher areas, you will consider these factors. Then third case, in this third case, what happened? 88,000 square meter area was there, right? And it is mandatory to leave 10% open space. That means this 10% after leaving 10% open space, you got 8,000 minus 800, 7,200 square meter area. But in this case, you are not going with these constructs. Then you are following. You are not using this Thus, they will, this is purely NA land. Only open space, because open space you
Plotted
cannot
area.
sell- you cannot sell open space, right? So, Ladda ji, please switch off your mic.
भैया
So-
जी हो गए तो कल जा रहे हैं और लोग फालतू में मार्केट टिकट कैंसिल हो गई
Please switch off your mics, please. So, in this case, what he has done for the 7200 square meter area directly multiplied by 35,000. That means this is totally plottable area. Already plots have been sanctioned. So such type of valuations, such type of valuation will be helpful for you for your whenever you are valuing market properties, such properties, then you will help these valuations. Why so? Because other government authorities consider these rates, and if there is huge difference, then what you will do, being a private valuer, you will try to go for some evidence there. You will collect these layout documents, other land documents. What are the future provisions there? So all factors will be considered. On that basis, you will go for the valuation then. Now, this is the valuations. See, in redirectionals, there are so many provisions, right? Valuation of properties, read this, then I will go again. In many redirectionals, they do not give the flat rates or commercial rates, office rates, or first floor commercial rates, or industrial rates. They do not provide. Only land rate is being given, mentioned. Then how to go for these flat rates? How to calculate this office rate, commercial rates? We will see. So suppose in this is municipal region area, municipal corporation area. Only these are land rates. These are flat rates. Second column is for flats. These first floor offices or commercial, or these rates are for the ground floor commercial or offices. But see, they have provided only land rate here. Then how to go for this flat rate then? If the flat here, the dash, it is shown as nothing is
Not
there.
mentioned. Not mentioned.
Not mentioned here.
You will go land plus construction.
But see, we will see, they have given some formula. We will go. Not directly with land per construction, but there's a, how we will see. Then this is the for the commercial property. For the residential, suppose you want to calculate the flat value. For the bungalow, independent bungalow, it is not required. But how will calculate the bungalow value there?
Plot plus construction depreciated rate.
Land plus construction depreciated, that much is enough. But what about the flat rates?
Plot plus
to-
construction ka depreciated rate into 1.15.
So this is the formula they have developed on the basis of experience. That means for reference you can use. So for residential flat, in this slide we have seen that only land rate has been given. We want to calculate this flat rate. Flat rate has been not mentioned in this. So we are calculating this flat rate. Sub-registrar is a non-technical person, but the government has provided them guidelines. Though the flat rate has been not provided, then how we will calculate? But this will give you idea for the private valuer then. So for rate of land, whatever that 4,950 square meter was the land rate given in that column. And then rate of construction, prevailing, what is the prevailing rate there? They already this construction rate will be given. Then what he will do? You will read the document and accordingly find whether the property is RCC or load bearing or temporary structure. Accordingly, the rates have been given here. Construction, these are construction rates. In that formula, you need to use these rates, right? So in this numeric, what how he has calculated? See, the land rate, only land rate was given here. That means 4,950 square meter land rate was given. But flat rate was not. How we have calculated this flat rate? 4,950 square meter plus this construction rate with depreciation. Remember, this might be changed. It depends on the age of the building. It might be 22,500. It might be 25,000 also. If so, it depends. Suppose the age is more, then it might be 16,000, 18,000. That means this is the depreciated rate, construction rate.
One question over here. That when we are considering the land rates, should we not consider the UDS part? Because the FSI consumed might be 2 or consumed might be 3. So
That-
then we are not utilizing 1 square meter of land for 1 square meter of the building. There, shall we not consider the UDS part over here?
Yeah, these are general rates for the stamp duty purpose only. So,
Yeah, but even for stamp duty purpose, when suppose for flat, suppose in my building where 4 FSI has been used. So for 1 square meter of flat, they have not used 1 square meter of land. They have used only 0.25 square meter of land.
yes, but whenever you are submitting your private valuation report, that time you can use this. But for this government valuation, these are the guidelines given by them. These are fixed rules. As per this, they need to go.
Okay.
For the private valuation report, yes, your point is very important because if you want to, why suppose now in this case, this was the rate here, right? 31,500 per square meter rate for the flat.
Because sir, what will happen in cities like Mumbai where they are consuming FSI like 7 and where the construction rate is very less and land rates are very high.
Yes, but that means
Instead of using, instead of using 0.14 square meter of land, if I am using 1 square meter of land, then the stamp duty value which works out by this formula will be quite high. Then
I
what
will
will be the market value of the property?
I will tell. Then whenever you have, there are some provisions regarding this also. That means the TDR is permissible there. Premium FSI is permissible. That means the land rate they will enhance there is the guidelines in the guidelines itself. It has given that whenever you are handling such cases for the land rate, they will increase the land rate by 40%. These are provisions given in the guidelines. So that means naturally it will cover them. These are separate guidelines there for the TDR or for premium FSI. Whenever you cannot consider this land rate 4,950 square meter there, you will increase by 40% there. These are provisions for the lands. So these will be considered there. But see, in cities like Mumbai or any metropolitan cities, most of the area they provide the flat rates, shop commercial rates, that means office rates. These rates will be provided there. Yes, I know. I have seen the Mumbai redirectors also, Pune redirectors also. But in some regions, that means some not not those areas. That means some metro without in the metro region. In such cities, they have left such columns. And for the years, this is going on. So, sub-registrar is non-technical person. He can collect, how to collect them. There is loss of revenue then. So, it should not happen. That's why these figures have been. But in the C, in this C, you will find all the columns have been filled here. This land rate is given, then flat rate is been given, commercial ground floor, commercial first floor, industrial rate, Everything is there. This is one is disturbing.
जमीन को
Who is there? Bridget,
गाइडलाइन रेट कमर्शियल लैंड वैल्यूएशन
So these all the rates have been given here. You need not go calculate. But if suppose only land rate is be given, then how to calculate? But in Mumbai, Pune, radiators, they will not leave this column blank. They consider everything. Premium FSI, TDR FSI, then rehabilitation rates, then rental properties, everything is covered there. In guidelines also they cover everything. Then for commercial property, suppose for the shopping complex or office building there, then how to calculate there? What they are doing? Rate of land, then depreciation, construction rate, and multiplied by 1.5. So that means there is some latent value. That means they are considering these commercial factors, shopping complex. Now, otherwise, what they would have done? Simply add land rate and construction rate and go for the valuation. But it is not so here. So in this case, they are considering land rate, then construction rate and multiply it by 1.5 and area of the premises. And for the industrial property also doing the same thing here. They are performing calculations, they are given standard formulas. By using this, you can easily work out stamp duty valuation. But while sanctioning the loans or while handling these capital gains cases, they will require private valuers reports. So valuer, what was happening earlier? Because see, I have experienced this many times. I was working as a assistant director of town planning and valuation itself only. And so many private valuers, they were demanding that, sir, please provide the rates in 1981 and 2001. See, in Maharashtra, radirector has started in 1989. Then how to provide these rates? Then because of for the capital gain calculations, they always require CA demands. CA, what CA do? CA approach to the land and building valuer. And these in 2001, rates have been published. Rates were open. But how the old rates will be provided by the government officers will not provide easily. So these tactical things are there. But these rates will be required by the valuer. For the capital, for stamp duty purpose, there is no role for the private valuer. But whenever they are going for the adjudication cases, the party may approach for the valuer and he may give some evidences. But for capital gains cases, then for the taxation purpose, for the premium cases, for the TDR cases, private roles, valuer's role is there. And municipality also, whenever they are calculating premium charges, they consider only ready regular rates. For the land acquisition office, only these rates. So these rates are very important. So for valuation of shop building comparing shopping complex other than malls. For malls, they are providing separate zones nowadays in ready reckoners. Earlier, it was not required to go for the malls. But since last 2-3 years, they are providing separate zones. They are studying in most of the municipal council corporations. At least 3-4 malls are there. So this is the modern requirement for the rates. So they are providing separate rates. They are doing on the plan itself. They are visiting the site. They are marking the sites. On that basis, they are giving rate. But what was happening? Only what about the small shopping complexes then? So there is difference between these valuations and the mall valuations. So this is for your reference. You can use. This might be. These are not the fixed figures, but for the respective states, there might be different provisions You can use your own then. But for your judgment, for your study purpose, you will have idea what to do, whether how to apply the rates. You can apply your own mind. You can have your own data, and on that basis, you can come to the conclusion. But certainly, you can use this for basement. Why they are using this 70% rate? Because it's a totally underground structure, right? What about the lower ground floor? They are considering 90% rate here of the whatever rate provided in the. They are not using 100% rates here. See, that means they are considering the such cases also. For the ground and upper floors, they are considering 100% rate. No excuse there. But for they know, because for the basement, you can, there is difference of valuation. If your property is on the main road, then it will certainly have huge difference. These are commercial properties. Every square meter counts. Every square feet counts. For the second floor, they are considering 80%. Some lift provisions might be there. So these factors are also considered in these guidelines. And these are useful for us. Being a private valuer, you can also have idea. It is not mandatory that these are standard guidelines. It depends when you visit some site. If you find something different, then you can have your own percentage. Fix your own percentage, and if you are satisfied, straight away go, I will suggest. Then for the terrace also, what happens? Sometimes in addition to flat, they are providing some terrace. Vimal Shah sir, that UDS point here covers here. So that means they are considering this. Read this. I'll wait for 1 minute. So while calculating, what happens? I have experienced this while working as officer. So many persons do not consider these things while valuing. They do not have the ideas. These are non-tech. Those so many agents are working there in the market. They do not have technical knowledge, and it's our mentality that they do not come to the valuers also. It's the sad thing. They will think, sir, why should I go? Why do I pay 500 rupees for the valuer, for the consulting fees? So this is the mentality. But later on, I have inspected such documents and found guilty, and then they were penalized for lower undervaluations. So only the technical persons can handle such cases easily if he has idea. And while valuing such properties also, when you are handling some land and building cases, at that time you also need to consider it is not mandatory for us to go for this 40%, but you can have your own idea. On that basis, on your judgment, your skill, your experience, you can do. If you are writing everything, this is the situation and why this I am come to the conclusion for this much rate. No, no one will. If you are able to, if you will be able to prove, then no issue. Also, same thing with for parking. Also, read this. They are given the rates. How to consider whether the parking is covered or not covered, or the how what are the provisions regarding this. Whether if the parking is covered, then how much rate should be considered? If the parking is open parking, then what should be the rate? But in practical situations, so many persons do not have the knowledge. They ignore, and later on public suffers. Because then he has to pay the difference of the stamp duty. Not only the difference, but
Even the lawyers they ignore, sir. So what happens when we are registering the property? Even the lawyers are ignoring these percentages, and they are registering the property at higher rates and we have to pay the higher stamp duty value.
Yes, sir.
Rightly said by you that, because of lack of knowledge, even
Yes.
the valuers, the lawyers, everyone are ignoring this. And because of that, the normal people, they are getting, paying more stamp duty values and all.
Yes, sir. Yes, it happens. It practically happens. Nothing can be what we can do. It is nothing can be. See, sir, you are saying absolutely correct. But remember, I have observed you are regarding someone is disturbing here.
Yeah, Mr. Ashok Kumar, sir, you have to mute him.
Ashok Kumar ji, please switch off your mic. Sir, we are the land and building values, right? And whenever I have observed such cases, I cannot suggest this, but some CAs, that means chartered accountants, they are not expert on the land and building valuations, right? And still they are submitting their reports. Second thing, we are the land and building valuers. I was valuer, government valuer in the registry department, and I have to handle one industrial valuation case. Huge valuation was there, almost 600 crores valuation for the Skoda or something. So in that situation, what I did, I have carried out land valuation, I have carried out building valuation, but I have asked about the plant and machinery valuation in that case. And that person has submitted the land and building valuers report with me. And they, sir, you require this plant and machinery valuation. We have urgency. You go through this and you carry out this land and building valuation as per your approach and add this plant and machinery value. Whether you are permissible to give plant and machinery value, if you do, you are not registered with the plant and machinery registration. Whether you can submit such reports. Can anyone answer? Is it permissible to
No, sir. No, sir.
No. So, but still the person has submitted the report. But straight away I have rejected that and I have insisted him go for the plant, register plant, because no person is available in government department for the plant and machinery valuations particularly. For the land and building valuations, so many persons are available in the departments. But regarding this plant and machinery valuations, you need to go for the registration with registered value, private registered valuers valuation only. So, and same thing with the CAs, chartered accountants. They should not give the land and building valuation reports. And third thing, those who do not have registrations, they are submitting the land and building valuation reports. So, sir, Vimal sir, these things are happening. How do advocate submit? How advocate can submit the land and building valuation report?
Yeah, obviously, but they are the person, those who are calculating how much stamp duty is to be paid. That is the fact.
So, and second thing, sir, how the court accept it?
Obviously, should not.
So, sir, these are some practical things. You are on the proper point.
Because there is nobody to object.
Sir,
Court is accepting because there is nobody to object it.
then he will take it personally. Sir, yes, yes. But our valuers union can do something. Well, I think they are my. I think for such practical situations, we will have some separate session. So for the suppose for the shops, offices with built up areas, on the basis of areas also they have provided some. There are some provisions given. That means up to 450 square meter. They are there directly. How much should be the value? Suppose the shopping area is more than 450 square meter. These are some general sensible things. Being a valuer, we can consider this factor, though it is mandatory for the ready actors. But for our in our reporting also, we can consider such factors. That is my intention here. So suppose the flat up to 450 square meter, that means up to 4,500 square feet, they are using the same rate. But if the area is more than 450 to 7 up to 7,000 square feet, then deduction, they are giving deduction to these rates. But in general practice, Vimal Shah sir, again same thing. Or whether the area is 2,300 square meter or whatever, party didn't know anything. So the person, the non-qualified person straight away giving 100% rate. The person can get almost 20% benefit here. But still, they will pay higher stamp duty. Almost he is paying 20% higher stamp duty here. So though the area was 2,300 square meter, he is using 100% rate there. So such things should not happen in the but being our valuers organization must take objections. Then malls and department stores are the same things here. I will not repeat again, but same provisions are there. You just read it. But remember, they are increasing here, going beyond 100% here for the malls and that's why it is necessary, particularly in Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore, Chennai, Kolkata. Such types of developments are there. Nowadays it is in Delhi also. So they are considering these things. For basement, they are reducing the rates. For the ground floor, upper floors, they are increasing the rates. So almost 20% increase there. This we have discussed. And regarding depreciation also, we are calculating depreciation by different methods. We know, everyone knows. The sinking fund method or then other constant percentage method or whatever. But how, because they do not have the time to go with the detail in so they have developed one formula there. On these grounds, they are calculating the depreciation here or the properties. But remember one thing, whenever you are valuing, giving some depreciation, you need some conclusive proof with you. How you will prove that this building is this much old, 30 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old? How will you prove then? Can anyone tell me? How will you prove that this building is 40 years old? You have visited site.
Completion certificate
One thing,
or property tax receipt
yes,
or light bill.
light bill. Yes, you can consider these things. On that basis, you can prove that this much is the age of this property. This is given in our guidelines, in Maharashtra guidelines. So this is the formula given. You remember this, try to, but I will not go with the numeric here, but still such things can be considered by valuer. Now, this in Maharashtra particularly, there are 3 types of zoning. In addition, what happens most of the times we consider it that rural or either urban properties. But there is one type of that means influence zone area is also there in Maharashtra redirectors. There are some provisions. That means this is non-municipal area, but still has some potential. Some villages which have the potential of the urban areas, but still they are not purely rural or purely urban. In between
Influence
stage,
zone.
influence zone. In this situation, what they do? There are almost 12 zones are there. They have provided 12 zones. 12 zones are prevailing there. That means some lands have different NA potential. Then they are giving NA potential rate. Some land has been converted into NA. they are giving any rate. Some congested areas are there. They are providing congested area rates. And some
Unauthorized non-agricultural use.
yes, yes. And you need to follow that same cost tax there. So they have for the agricultural lands, they have provided this hectare rate directly given. So you can use these rates, right? But suppose in this case they are not providing, these are having some any potential lands, and still they are yet to be converted into NAs, but still have some potential. So that's why they have given some square meter rates. Again, go for that table, calculate accordingly how much is the area for the calculation. On that basis, you can come to the conclusion for the area of the valuation of that land. So these are some in ready reckoners. Whenever you are valuing agricultural land, for the income tax department also you require this. Whenever you are submitting some reports to the, for the capital gain purpose, at that time you need to consider this. For the suppose this land is Jirayat land, that is we say in Maharashtra we say that means it is proper for cultivation. For such land we say Jirayat land. It is said to be Jirayat land. There is no irrigation or no water available, purely Jirayat land. In such cases, and if suppose you are getting some irrigated water there, or if well is there, better whether you are getting for entire area the water, if water is available for entire season, both the seasons, or for particular season, partial season, it depends. So accordingly they have provided some figures. That means for the Jirayat land, they will not consider multiply by 1.5 or 2. But for if your land is falls in Bhagat sector, then you need to go you will double this Jirayat rate. On that basis, you will calculate the valuation and collect the stamp duty accordingly then. These irrigated land, and suppose one question I will ask. Suppose irrigated land, you are getting water from that irrigation source, and one of the person, he has sold the property, but he is not getting the irrigated water there. Then whether you will double the valuation or go with the Jirayat land valuation.
It will be decided on that 712 extract वर जे हे असतं पिकांचा उतारा.
No. That see, there is a list in the sub-register office that these villages comes under irrigation. So this what he will do. This village comes under irrigation's list. He will straightway go for he will double the valuation straightway. And you are valuer. You want to save. That means that land is not getting water. Irrigation is not available with that land. Then how will you prove that? What are the provisions there then? Where you will approach? Think something, then we will get the answer.
Irrigation department,
Yes,
agricultural department.
that means he will approach to the irrigation department from the concerned authority. He will get the letter and attach that letter. And on that basis, he can save the stamp duty. Otherwise, double stamp duty we will pay. So it can be any part of the India then, if you are not getting water. Because these rates, there is difference, huge difference of rate. Same thing, these figures have been given. Suppose the life of the building, how much if the life of the building, this is the RCC category, this is the Ardhapakke, that means temporary structures. So how to consider for the 2 to 5 years, they are considering 5% depreciation. These are average rates and they directly use it. or up to, suppose this land building in 5 to 10 years old, they are considering 90% rate. And for this temporary structure, they are using 85%, 15% reduction is there. Suppose the land is 60 years old, how much will be the depreciation they are considering? That means almost 70% depreciation is there. So these are ready figures available. And for your reference, you can also go through this, because these are good on the base of experience. They have considered these figures. This has some base. They have surveyed some properties, and on that grounds, they come to the conclusion. But these are average rates. So such types of rates are given in the rate. That means
सर
हम्म,
मला एक विचारायचं होतं म्हणजे
आपण
पूर्ण
हे
आता
हेच
हा,
आपलं
फक्त
आता
ऍग्री
क्वेश्चन्स
लँडच्या बद्दल होतं ते.
हो ना, एक मिनिट. आपण
हा.
आता हे संपलं की आपण क्वेश्चन्सला जाणार आहे. सगळे क्वेश्चन तुमचं नोट करून ठेवा. आपण जाऊ त्याला परत. ओके, मी हे संपलं की त्यालाच जाणार आहे. आता हे संपत आलंय. आता त्याच्यानंतर आपण हे क्वेश्चन आन्सर्स आणि डिस्कशन ठेवणार आहे फक्त.
ओके ओके.
Nowadays, these are some provisions given in the building control rules and bylaws. How the valuation affects. And most of the values, I have conducted one CEP lecture on TDR day before yesterday. And I have seen that most of the valuers, they do not have the idea about this transport of development rights, how this premium FSI. So this is also necessary. And still I'm going to repeat this TDR transfer of development, because in all the states, all over the states, they are using this TDR. Why this TDR is necessary? I have one separate lecture up to 2 hours. And second thing, I have carried out one big inquiry on this TDR for the state government of Maharashtra. I know everything. So I want to share my knowledge with you people. The inquiry is not important, but I have thorough knowledge on this TDR topic. But this matters in metro cities. Every square meter land counts. Every how much FSI you are getting, how much premium FSI you are getting. This almost you have to double the valuations. And yes, this is the base. This is officially published document. Every state has different rules and regulations. I have already told. Karnataka might be different, Gujarat might be different, TDR rules might be different. But you can use this, you can get, a valuer has the benefit. If he has knowledge only, then only he can use such figures. So that means by considering these roads also, they are given to below 9 meter, they do not allow TDR, right? For the roads in between 9 to 18 meters, they are permitting this much TDR here. This much FSI, premium FSI, they are permitting. But here they need ready reckoner rates. That's the main part. If valuer is familiar with the ready reckoner rates only, then only he can do the such calculation. There are so many confusions. I know, because I was working here. So many times the corporation engineers, they do not have the knowledge. They are always try to ask me, sir, how to do valuations, because there are certain different zoning is there. Unless and until you have zone idea, you cannot calculate these valuations. I know, because there are zone plans, and zone plans are available with only that particular office. Then what other valuers can do that? And they do not have no idea about these valuation zones. So valuer must be familiar with this, how this valuation, this FSI directly affect slum TDR, then heritage TDR. What is going on in Mumbai today? Dharavi. See, in SRA, they consider this, and nowadays the SRA demands valuers, special valuers. They are giving some tenders. So same thing. So for this was some for congested area and non-congested area, different. The difference is there. So see, these are value zones. These are available in only offices. So private valuer do not have the idea. So they have given, that means whether this is this is a partial portion I have brought in this image. That means if you get entire image of this, you can easily calculate the valuations without, otherwise you will search 400 pages, 300 pages. Directly search this, you will get, suppose this is the zone number 156. Directly go to that zones and calculate it. So how is the assessment per hectare calculated from 712 extract of land? In particularly Maharashtra, you people might have know, Laddaji, you know. So total assessment, what you will do? You will study that, you will go through that 712 extract. On the left side column, you will observe the area, and second thing, the assessment. That means the total assessment divided by total area will give you assessment rate. So on that basis, you can calculate the per village rates there. I will show that slide. These rates, I think one. Oh. See, this for the rural areas, such types of provisions in Maharashtra, they total area divided by assessment, in which category it falls, the lands. That means they have given this type of land. See the difference of
राग
rate.
लावून घेतात.
So, going higher by higher, zone number 1, zone number 2, zone number 3, zone number 4, zone number 5, zone number 6. Then again they have provided average rates for this NA rates. That means if your land is suppose your land is fronting highway, then how to use these rates? These rates have been given for the rural areas also. So you should have the knowledge regarding how to calculate these, how to use these tables there. How to calculate this? I have not performed calculation here. These are very simple and basic. So you will use this formula here. That means total assessment divided by total area, you will get which category the land falls. Then one port kharab land, that means not cultivable land. But still, in these radiators, they do not take cognizance of this land. Thus, such types of lands are familiar everywhere, in every part of India. But for these are average rates, how they can, it is necessary to go in detail. How for you, it is not possible to visit every village and collect such data. So they will consider it as Ziraat land directly. So for this TDR valuations also, you require this in TDR, what you consider? That means originating zone and receiving zone. What is the purpose of this TDR there? For the TDR, government has very few funds available with them. That means municipal corporations. Suppose some public reservations are there, some government acquired to some land for the roads. In such situation, they need to give some compensation there. At that time, the government, the most of the municipality do not have funds available with them. Then in the form of TDR, they are giving that. TDR valuation is more important nowadays. So they are considering this TDR rates because the originating zone, where this TDR is permissible. I will not go in detail there because I have separate lecture on this TDR. So where to you, what is meant by originating zone, what is meant by receiving zone, what is meant by heritage TDR, what is meant by slum TDR. These valuations matters. This is the heart of the valuation nowadays. but so many people are not, so many valuers are ignoring this part. So again, for this land acquisition also, how they perform the land, because the ready acres is the base. But you will say, sir, what will be the role for the private valuers then? See, if you are some concerned person is not satisfied with the, and so many land acquisition cases are there pending there, in so many, in thousands, in every high court, every district court, so many land disputes are there regarding this land compensation. So government has already given the compensation. Then the private valuers role will start. Then how to perform such valuations? That means they will collect the sales for last 3 years. And considering higher, suppose in this case, he has considered 10 sales for the last 3 years. That means 2015, 16 and 17. The valuation date was 2017. So out of this, he has considered top 5 sales. Average this and we'll get the rate. But see whether the government officer has used the correct valuation sales. He is not doing intentionally, but unknowingly, whatever data provided by the other offices, he is using that much only. And suppose there are chances that you may lose the crores of compensation. Nowadays, they are giving compensation 4 times, 2 times. So you being a private valuer, what they will approach advocate. Advocate is not expert. He will go to the registered valuer. Registered valuer will collect some evidences, collect some higher sales. On that basis, he will prove to the judge, sir, this much was value compensation given to our clients, but this is expected. So valuer must have the knowledge of this also. Land acquisition, there are so many cases in income tax department also. So many cases of lands are pending. So you should have the knowledge of this. This was the rate, this was the average rate, 15,000 was the average rate, and divided by 5, this was the rate given here. But if basic sales are wrong, it will certainly affect the value. They are giving compensation, that means how much loss you will suffer, think. So this, I will not explain in detail this. This is the before and after method value of valuation. That means, suppose your land, government is acquiring some land, and in such situation, see this figure, you can observe this figure. I have already carried out one lecture on this land acquisition, but still some people might be new here. So that means severance and insurance affection. These words will be familiar regarding this land before and after valuation. So what does it mean by severance? That means this is the building in this road. This building is affected, and they give the compensation only based on the ready class. Remember, and if the government officers are doing correct valuations, whatever the data provided on that basis, they will conduct the valuations.
कामात आहेत.
Sushil Kumar ji.
Sushil Kumar.
So in this second case, you observe this. What happened? The owner has 2,000 square meter land available with him, but government is taking only 1,600 square meter land. But what about this? This land has no potential at all. See, this is unbuildable area. So how to value such properties then? In this case, they consider the severance and insurance affections. This is the physical damage that is considered to be severance then. And this is injurious affection. That means injury is taken here. Because this person will do for this 400 square meter? It is totally unbuildable area, useless land. But still government will give compensation see the numeric, I have one numeric here. How much loss he suffers there. Value before acquisition was almost this one was the value before acquisition. This 400 square meter land, they are not considering this 400 square meter land. They are not acquiring this. They are taking only this 1600 square meter land. So in this case, this much was the difference there. So compensation for the damage due to injurious affection. This is called injurious affection. This is called severance. Why? That means it is physically you can observe. This compound wall, this was the building here. This building is affected. This much plot also had gone. He will get other benefits, right? In the form of TDR or other form of FSI. There are so many provisions nowadays. But if the valuer has knowledge only, then only he can go for such valuations. These are required nowadays. So many, if you are practicing as a valuer, don't go for the, do not think about the bank valuations cases, but there are so many other matters are important nowadays. So you should have at least primary knowledge so that you can at least discuss with others, those who have experience. So this is one of form of injurious affection. In this case, this much loss he will suffer, but still government will give compensation to the concerned person. Then in general now, we are concluding session now. That means what is expected when you are reporting, you are a valuer. I have handled more than 5,000 valuation cases, but still accountant general's inspection, they carry the inspections there. So at that time, I have to, they have observed my reports. On that grounds, they, whenever they come across any difficulty, still they ask me regarding such value. Sir, what to do? We are non-technical persons. We are doing the inspections. We are doing the audits. In such cases, sometimes they may ask me. They ask me. So you should have skills. First, remember, if you have technical knowledge, that means more. You should have thorough knowledge of all the that means development plans, regional plans, TDR, premium FSI, paid FSI, heritage structure, SRA, the rules. If you are familiar with these rules, then only you can properly handle the valuation case. Then collect the data. Collection of data is very, very difficult. Yes, I know. For government persons, it is not difficult because they simply give the letter to the concerned authority. They will provide the data. But what about the private valuers? Then analyze data properly. Then reasoning. Always remember, we have already discussed so many things here. The plot A, plot B, plot C valuations. Give reason and try to give your own report. No, nothing will happen. If you are confident, you can easily do such valuation. Specific conclusion and then straightforward. You should be straightforward. Though he is my relative, he is my friend, ignore it. You are valuer there. You are registered valuer, think it. And then formats. Most of the people demand, sir, please provide us formats. Remember only one thing: scope, purpose, data, analyze, proper method. These things will be checked. Whenever someone will carry out any audits, which method you are using, what are the supporting documents, what are the proofs, evidences, these will be checked. Then type of report and then written report. You know this, all these things you are practicing for so many years. So I think we will keep 15 minutes for the questions and discussions. This is from my side, but still I will keep these slides with me. Someone has some questions there. And thank you and all the best for your future, for new values, and for those who are practicing, they can discuss with me. I'm going to share my personal number with you people. I have handled all types of valuations, whether from income tax department, courts, then stamp duty department. I have worked for more than 15 years there. Then town planning department, so many development permissions have given. So I have thorough knowledge about all these building bylaws, then valuations, rules and regulations. And not apart from this, I have used other methods of valuations also. So thank you and all the best for you. Now we will discuss free discussion.
Sir, I am having one basic doubt. You may laugh at that particular question. After observing so many gambling from the builder community, they have already mentioned the area of the particular flat or any commodity, either in built-up area or super built-up area or carpet area. After the RERA provisions are coming in, they have made it mandatory to mention the carpet area of the flat.
Yes, I know.
Whereas in our guideline rates, they are basically dependent on the built-up area of the building.
See,
What is the exact provision?
no. There is the one guideline is available there. You see, you go through the guidelines. Then if built-up area is given, how to convert 1.2 factor they are using.
After 2018, it is
Of the
1.1.
guidelines, in the guidelines that
It might be changed. Yes, it depends.
they are given.
After RERA, it is
For the
1.1.
calculation of stamp duty.
Yes.
In
This is only
reality,
for the, remember, these guidelines, whatever it is, only for the stamp duty purpose only.
obviously, but if
Yes.
the only carpet area is mentioned on the particular document, registered document, or super built-up area is also mentioned many times.
Yes, then what you will do? You will go for you observe that sanctioned building permission plan. They will give all types of area there. And on that basis, you can consider that area, that this much will be the built up area.
Even in the ASR, Sushil Kumarji, in the ASR, it's
Yeah,
already
yeah.
mentioned. Like if I see the ASR of Gujarat, it's clearly mentioned that if the carpet area is given, then you can consider built-up area to be 1.2 times the carpet area.
1.2,
Yeah, the
1.2 given.
provisions are always there.
Clearly, I mean, from whatever
Provisions
state you belong to, if you download the ASR document, so
Yes,
it
yes.
would be clearly
Yeah, my
mentioned
question
that.
I know that.
Yes,
My
yes, he
question
knows.
is like this. Basic idea is that in practical cases, the super built-up area is manipulated every time
It
without
is, you need not
finding
consider
any
the super
guidelines.
built up. You
Super
need not
built-up area will
But
be
it is
always manipulated, so we cannot consider the super
it
built-up
is
area.
You need
always
not
mentioned on
consider.
the registered document.
You need not
It is
consider super
mentioned.
built up area. Straightway go for the carpet area only. Bus. And it's written in the RERA Act also it is written that you consider carpet area.
Yeah, it is always
Yes, it is mandatory for the
jumbling
builder.
over there.
Yes, it is mandatory. As per law only. He has to follow the carpet area only.
Right now, the guidelines rates are based on the built-up area itself.
No,
Am
they
I
are
right?
giving carpet. But see, whenever you are going to register any document, it is mandatory to give carpet area only. Mandatory. If you are registering any document, it is they made mandatory to use carpet area there.
I think
See,
that is a RERA provision nowadays.
It would be
No, no.
carpet, it would be mentioned carpet area, but the guideline rates which we are considering for stamp duty, that will consider the built-up area.
That is a built-up area only. The rates are based on
Yeah,
built-up
the
area only.
rates in
Yes.
ASR are mentioned only as per the built-up area.
Yes, they have given the rates on built up area, but how much built up area? That means carpet. How much will be the carpet area, net built up area? They are already given there, no?
In reality, it may be differ. The
Yes,
carpet
yeah,
area
in
different.
reality it is different because nowadays this fungible
Yeah, so many
concept is
concepts are
also,
there.
Sushil
Fungible is there,
Kumarji,
something.
if you see the plans of good builders, so they mention both the things, the carpet area also and as well as the built-up area also.
yes,
They
yes.
calculate and give it there. So if you already have that built-up area, then we don't need to
Sir,
calculate
that
anything.
is applicable for good builder, but there are some entities
And
or where
otherwise
there
we
is
can
a
use this
suspicious
rule
aspect.
1.2 times the carpet area and we can use that as the built-up area.
Yeah, that is right. But the ready reckoner rates are basically the built-up area rate.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's it. That's it.
Yes, 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 sir.
Sir,
Okay, thank you.
सर
हम्म
हम जब लैंड एक्विजिशन के लिए वैल्यूएशन देते हैं, अभी सपोज रोड का एक्विजिशन है, तो इट इज काफी जगह पे ऐसा होता है कि द प्रॉपर्टीज आर नॉट कन्वर्टेड टू नॉन एग्रीकल्चरल यूज और लेआउट वाज नॉट अप्रूव्ड, बट इट वाज यूज्ड फॉर नॉन एग्रीकल्चरल यूज ओनली, द बिल्डिंग्स वेर प्रेजेंट देयर। तो इस वक्त एक्विजिशन के लिए वैल्यूएशन करते वक्त क्या अप्रोच होता है, या फिर अथॉरिटी क्या कंसिडर करती है अगर लेआउट अप्रूव नहीं है, बिल्डिंग परमिशन नहीं है, या कंस्ट्रक्शन डेवलपमेंट रेगुलेशंस के हिसाब से नहीं है, तो इट इज डन ऑन एज इज वेर इज बेसिस, और इट्स गाइडलाइन शुड बी कंसिडर्ड?
No guidelines will be considered. Land acquisition is different concept. और
बट इट इज
उसमें आप
ऑन एज इज वेर इज
उसमें
बेसिस, और
एक
व्हाट?
चीज ध्यान में रखिए, उसमें
हम्म
आपको क्या करना है, अगर आपके पास लेआउट सैंक्शन है नहीं,
हम्म
कंपेंसेशन देते टाइम पे अगर लेआउट सैंक्शन नहीं, तो आपको नहीं मिलेगा यानी का रेट। बिल्डिंग अनऑथराइज है, बिल्डिंग का डॉक्यूमेंट अगर सैंक्शन है, तो ही आप वो कंसीडर करेंगे। अनऑथराइज डॉक्यूमेंट के लिए सवाल ही नहीं आता उसका कोई।
नहीं, बट अभी काफी जगह पे क्या है कि ग्राम पंचायत परमिशन लेकर आते हैं,
मालूम
तो
है,
वो
वो तो
कंसिडर
मुझे
होता
ये
है
इश्यू,
हाँ।
मैं बहुत साल से औरंगाबाद में 90
या फिर प्रॉपर्टी टैक्स, प्रॉपर्टी टैक्स रिसिप्ट होता है, या
प्रॉपर्टी टैक्स का कोई रिलेशन नहीं है इधर वैल्यूएशन में।
तो बिल्डिंग का नहीं मिलेगा उसको इसमें
नहीं मिलेगा,
कॉम्पनसेशन?
नहीं मिलेगा, नहीं मिलेगा।
ओके
अनऑथराइज है वो।
ओके।
हम्म। तो आपको मेरा नंबर भी लीजिए, आप लोग जो कभी आपका, मैं तो छत्रपति संभाजीनगर ही रहता हूँ। डोंट आई हैव।
और सर, और एक था, जब हम डेवलपमेंट मेथड से लैंड का वैल्यू कैलकुलेट करना होता है, तब उसमें से डेवलपमेंट कॉस्ट, यानी जो रोड्स के लिए, इसके लिए जो कॉस्ट लगता है वो माइनस करना होता है, तो वो डेवलपमेंट कॉस्ट काय के बेसिस पे निकालना चाहिए? अगर ये जो
डिपेंड्स ऑन द पर्टिकुलर केस, सो वी विल डिस्कस लेटर।
CPWD
दीज आर जनरल
schedule of
केस।
rates.
हाँ, सीपीडब्ल्यूडी में, पर वो आइटम वाइज निकालना होगा।
Yes,
Ah,
that depends
Shall
on
I-
the
have to connect
shall I
it.
add something to it?
particular case. You have to go with these are the average rates. Again, CPWD rates are different in every part of the India.
Shall
In
I
Rajasthan,
add something to it, sir? If you permit.
hmm?
If you permit, shall I add something to Mr. Deven?
Yes, no need to.
Devenji, whenever we
This is
are
free discussion.
considering the development method. So in development method, basically what we'll be considering an hypothetical development. So basically now you will get the area of each and every development. What would be the development of road? What would be the compound wall? What would be the drainage lines and everything? And there you have to input the market rates over there if you want to do the correct valuation rather than the CPWD valuation, because what the SOR rates and what the market rates are quite different. So whenever we are
No,
considering the development,
but income tax department or any department doesn't
see,
accept
first
that
of all, when
market
you
rate.
are
हाँ, yeah,
considering the development method, so normally you
yeah.
will be doing it for bank valuations only.
No, it is needed in income tax also
ओके, इट
many
इज
times.
रिटन इन इनकम टैक्स। आपको 2001 के वैल्यूएशन के लिए भी करना रहेगा तो आप कर सकते हो, बट
हम्म
इनकम टैक्स मेथड आल्सो अप्रूव्स विद ऑल दिस मेथडोलॉजीज। बराबर है,
हम्म
दिस इज द पार्ट ऑफ मार्केट अप्रोच।
Yes,
तो
they should accept.
आप उसमें मार्केट रेट्स भी आप डाल के कर सकते हैं। व्हाट ऑल डिडक्शंस, आपको उसका प्रॉफिट भी माइनस करना पड़ेगा। एंड अगर डिटेल्ड में अगर आपको करना है, अगर आपको डिटेल में करना है तो आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा कि डिस्काउंटेड कैश फ्लो भी यूज करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि
नहीं, वो तो वो मेथड,
डेवलपमेंट स्कीम, तो इट टेक्स
that
टाइम टू डेवलप।
that method is already described in income tax valuation manual. I
राइट,
was just concerned about the rates, or these guidelines rates to be obtained for development cost.
Guidelines rate will not be considered there.
Yeah.
Not, they will not consider.
Okay.
sir, I have also got few questions if everybody is over with their questions.
Oh, okay.
So first of all, whenever we are doing the capital gain tax valuation, now there was an amendment in 2020-21 that the fair market value which we derive as on 1/4/2001 shall not exceed the stamp duty value. That was an amendment that was given in year 2021. that the fair market value as on 1/4/2001 should not exceed the stamp duty value. Now, what happens is most of the valuers, they are considering, because of this clause that it should not exceed the stamp duty value, most of the valuers, they are considering the guideline rates of 2001 as the value.
Yes.
So shall we consider only the guideline rates, or shall we consider the sale instances of 2001 from registrar office at the guideline rates? Because when I see the definition of stamp duty value, the definition of stamp duty value, I think it is given in Registration Act 1908, wherein it says that stamp duty value is either the circle rates or the sale consideration that is stated considered by the revenue department while collecting the stamp duty.
Yes, that means I think, in my opinion, because this is some different question, but most of the, what I have observed, most of the valuers, they consider only 2001 rate only.
Yeah, they are considering the circle rates. That is
What the authorities are not accepting. The whatever valuations you are, they suggest that, sir, so many people came to me and collected these 2000 rates.
because when I saw the definition of stamp duty value in Registration Act 1908, so it shows that it can be also the stated consideration which the revenue
market
department
value.
has considered.
They consider market value. But if you are not satisfied, then there are certain provisions. That means you can go for adjudication. In adjudication cases, they use the sales instances only.
Okay, one more question.
Mhm.
When a leasehold property is sold, say suppose I am buying a leasehold property. So since I am buying a leasehold property, obviously that person might have taken premium and the rent is very less. Now I am buying that leasehold property. So since I am getting a lesser rent, I will be buying that property at a much lesser rate.
Right.
So do the revenue department consider this fact when I want to buy this property and take a lesser stamp duty value, or they will consider the normal stamp duty value only?
No, they will consider normal stamp duty. They have nothing to do with. They just consider this. Just go for the books. This is the valuation. These are the figures given. These are the rates given. These are the prevailing rates, and straightway go for the book rates only. They do not consider this, because I have handled these lease valuations cases for the MIDC cases, almost more than 1,000 cases. At that time, other authorities were taking objections.
And what about, like, you are from Maharashtra? So there are, when I see Mumbai, there are so many rent controlled properties.
Yes.
When I see the property which are in rent control act, so whenever the owner sells the property, he is getting a very lesser value for the property.
Yes. Still they are
Market value is very, very less, whereas the stamp duty value is very high.
Yes.
So is there any provision given by the Maharashtra state that to calculate the market value of the property of rent control act in a different way?
There are some provisions for the Mumbai. They have provided guidelines how to calculate this value, to carry out these valuations. They are given guidelines regarding these rental properties.
The stamp duty can be calculated as per.
They have given some examples for such properties, how to carry out the valuations there, because the guidelines for the rest of Maharashtra and for the for particular Mumbai are different. I have not gone through that, but there are provisions given in the Mumbai regular guidelines. You can go through this. If I get it, then I will provide you. Yes.
Last
Some
question,
of friends are there. Some of my friends are working in Mumbai. I will collect from them and will provide you.
and one last question. That whenever there is a plotting scheme, so suppose I am taking a plot of 2,200 square meters, but the super plot area along with the UDS might be 240. So stamp duty value will be calculated on 240 or 200.
They consider 240 only.
They will consider along with the super.
Yes. They will go for the higher only for the stamp duty purpose wherever you go.
Okay, but in the sale deed here, we are mentioning only 200 square meters. We are not mentioning the super plot area at all.
Then if you are mentioning 200 square meter, they will consider 200 square meter only.
But okay, that is fine because we have mentioned that. But what is there in the rule means what actually should be considered?
Actually, net plot area is considered for the whatever is
Net
whatever
plot area will be
net
considered.
plot area is to be considered. See, I have in this numeric, I think I will go again. See. In this was the case, similar case here. In this, there was land of 8 square meter, right? They have deducted only open space. That means 800 square meter. It is not sellable. It is not the plot. So for the entire 7,200 square meter, they are applying the square meter rate directly.
So they will be considering the net plot area.
Net plot area. And
Right.
if suppose layout is sanctioned, then they will whenever you will get this the statement is given there. In that statement, they will give the net plot area. Why it is necessary nowadays? Because the FSI matters. TDR and premium FSR is dependent on this net plot area only. So they will write down the net plot area. You need to consider that net plot area only.
Thank you very much, sir.
Sir,
Thank you,
in
sir.
continuation with the Vimal sir's capital gain assignment,
Mhm.
generally the ready reckoner rates published for 2001 are based on the built-up area itself.
Yes, yes.
But there are some cases which I came across that there were some improvements, just like compound wall, the site development, trees, etc. Those rates are not considered in the ready reckoner rate. In that case, what is the legitimate to consider these rates in the stamp duty for the stamp duty valuation calculation of
Then
2001?
see what had happened, because I have to handle these MIDC cases.
Yeah,
And in that,
particularly.
I explained that sometimes whenever you visit some industrial sites, you will find that some compound walls are permanent, or some compound wall have it only 0.5 meter. Some compound walls having height 2 meters. Some tar fencing wire here. So at that time, I have used my own judgment. I have considered lump sum figures there, because we know, we are the engineers, how much will be the cost, estimated cost, what type of material he has used. On that basis, I have given some certain percentage, 5%, 10%, some amount on included it.
Lump sum
So it
calculation.
will not be the
Sushil
major.
Kumarji, we can consider the rates of compound wall in 2001, right? And ultimately, whenever the ITO they call you for any queries, then you should be able to prove the rates of 2001 by rate analysis. That's all.
That is the main
That is
difficulty
there.
here.
That is always there. If I am not going to consider all these improvements at 2001, the client will be at the loss. I am not favoring the client. No.
Sir, remember one thing. If you have considered this much, suppose you are technical expert, you are giving some value there. That means you are done your part. Based on my experience, I have did. You are writing everything in your report. You will safe. Though he is taking objection, it's of no use then, because you are expert there. He is not expert there. Why the government is giving registration to you people then? So that means based on your judgment, but give some reasonable figure. So that, because it is as good as negligible figure considering building valuations. So any other discussions? But suggest some topics for the CEP, because one topic everyone will require. That means what are the problems we are facing, valuers? Which problems we are facing? This type of lecture is needed, I think so, because I am giving lectures, CEP lectures, and some valuers are attending, and there is some different questions every time, and so many problems they are facing personally only. But for this, some solution must be there, some discussions must be there, so that you can have some ideas, and so that you can properly conclude the valuations. I think it is necessary. So anything, otherwise we will stop here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. It was very learning experience.
So trying to
Different
share
things.
some knowledge, trying to share some
Thank
knowledge.
you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for the very interactive session and a good presentation.
Sir,
Your number, please.
number I'm giving my number. 88.
One sec.
And one thing I'm my personal request to all you people, because I'm going to carry on in this field nowadays. So I want some material from you people from other states, so that I can deliver some good lectures here, CEP
Okay.
lectures particularly. So what is happening? I do not have the idea about the other states' rules and regulations regarding these building bylaws, then ready reckoners, then development plans, so regional plans. But one more lecture, if you people are interested, then I will again repeat for this TDR chapter. This is very important nowadays. Everywhere this is required. We can repeat if you people are interested. Then
Yeah,
Transfer
this
of
is interesting
development
topic. This is interesting
Transfer of
topic.
development rights. Very important topic nowadays. We will go
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah. Number, please.
88
Hmm.
55
Okay.
81
Yeah.
37
Right.
06. In
885.
addition to that, 88 55 81 37 06. And
And this is
second
also
thing,
on WhatsApp.
Anil Godghase.
This is also on WhatsApp.
Yes, this same number is on WhatsApp.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
We can discuss. We can have discussions. I am also just like a student in this various field. I want
That's
to
the
learn something. And second thing regarding these rules, and so many rules are prevailing there. That means development control rules. Day by day, every state has modified their own rules. So I have also good knowledge regarding these development permissions, this fungible FSI, or then TDR FSI, then premium FSI. These things are required. These things matter the valuations. But most of the valuers do not consider these things. Some reports I have observed. So this is my, do not want to criticize anyone, but still these are major factors nowadays required for valuer. So thank you everyone for hearing me for the last 4 hours.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Then shall we stop here? Kajal ma'am?
Yes. To we come to this CV for a very comprehensive and nice lecture. There was quite a lot of and doubts of the participants were satisfied, cleared, and there was. I'm happy that all participants took part in discussion and involved themselves fully. And this was a very important topic. Circle rate is center to the valuation.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Suggest
new topics for CV. Thank you, sir. And thank you, Sarita madam. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Suggest some topics.
Thanks to all.
Thank you, Sarita madam. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.